Hi, I'm Melissa Kim, writer, editor, and MWPA member, here to talk about stories that move me. When I first started to think about the stories that move me, I wrote down a quick little list: Meredith Hall's Beneficence, Silence by William Carpenter, the poems in Deek Dangle Dive by Gibson Fay LeBlanc, and going a little bit farther back, I thought about a story I'd heard on the Moth podcast by Melissa Coleman, incredibly moving. And when I looked at them, I realized they all had something in common. They had three things in common. The first was that they were all about profound loss, in most cases death, and grief. And maybe that's not so surprising, right? Because a story that really moves you, it's when a writer uses the gift they have to put some words around these elemental feelings that we often find quite difficult to articulate. But then I realized they had something else in common, in that they all moved the reader through to a place of maybe grace or peace, and in all cases hope, and in some quite profound joy. And in thinking about that, I came up with the story that moves me and has continued to move me every year when I read it, which is Love That Dog by Sharon Creech. It's such an incredible example of a writer combining art and craft in what's a deceptively simple middle grade book, where you are put into the heart and mind and soul and see the world through the eyes of a young boy who's starting to use his language and words and verse to express his feelings of love and loss and grief and sadness, but also so much through to hope and joy and expectation. I'm not embarrassed to say that when I read it out loud to my son, I cried. Thank you, Sharon Creech. And then I realized, this is what I forgot to say, I realized that all the writers that I had on my list, and I swear I did not do this purposefully, all the writers live in Maine, so how great is that? I hope you will join the MWPA for Stories That Move Me on October 4th.